sound like those seals that do something too.
Did you get it? Oh, gee, we forgot to tell you, there's a tradition. Everybody just want to go over to Charlie.
Kathy, would you get in here so I can see 8 kids at once? And Charlie. Charlie, there we go.
It was a fake.
Michael, come here. Sue. Sit down. Bob.
As a kid growing up, I absolutely had the fantasy that a lot of kids have. I wanted to come from a big family. I wanted to have lots of brothers and sisters. And when I was 3 days old, my birth mother placed me for adoption. I became a member of the Sakanagi family. They already had one other child. I have a brother, Joe, who was also adopted. My brother and I basically had this idyllic childhood until 2 tragic things happened. Our father died when I was 9, and then when he was 14, Joe developed schizophrenia, and in a way, it was like we lost him. It was like he died. I loved both of my parents very much, and my mom was like my best friend, but I had this burning desire to know, who did I come from and what do they look like? I mean, until the birth of my oldest son, I'd never seen anyone in my entire life that I was biologically related to. Mom died while I was searching, so I was never able to share with her what I found. What I found was my birth mother, Lee. One of the first things she told me was that I had 7 brothers and sisters. And that's when Mary and Mike and Sue and Jim and Kathy and Bobby and Charlie became a part of my life. They all had known about me. They all welcomed me with open arms, and I was completely overwhelmed by the way in which I was received. When I looked at the pictures of everybody in the family, just one face jumped out at me, my brother Bobby. Maybe it was that I wanted to look like him because he's gorgeous. I mean, he looked like Bon Jovi. He looked like this rock star with this blonde hair and these blue eyes. But there was something about the jawline, just something that was so familiar. I met my brothers and sisters at the Minneapolis airport. The image that's always stayed with me is seeing Bobby, and here's this 24-year-old guy, and he was crying. He had tears in his eyes. That touched me more than anything else that first day. If you look at video footage of when we first met, Bobby is just always right next to me. Everybody said that we were twins. And I was his twin, and he was my twin.
You look like Bobby.
There's Gene's twin, Bobby. I gotta take a look at that.
We both had small hands, small feet, similar gummy smiles. That very first night, we took my birth mom, Lee, out to this really nice restaurant for her birthday. And Bobby started this food fight. He took this piece of cake with this white frosting, and he threw it down the table and nailed me. I was wearing this black blazer, and he nailed me in my black blazer. I loved that all of a sudden I could regress and be childlike with all these brothers and sisters, and I very much felt like I was part of this tribe. And I gotta admit, after just a short period of time of knowing them, I began to wonder why on earth were policies made that would keep us separated as siblings for forever. We have a whole generation of adoptees who've grown up in this veil of secrecy. And we need to start asking some hard questions. Should that secrecy be for forever? Should this be a life sentence of separation? You know, it's not just me who benefits from meeting my birth family. I've got 2 sons, and they now have 7 aunts and uncles and 13 cousins that they otherwise wouldn't have. We're talking about adoptees and adoptees' children and grandchildren, and on down the line. This secrecy affects generations. When Lucas was born and Bobby became a father, he was transformed. I mean, it literally changed Bobby's life. It's like all of a sudden his life became very clear to him, and his goals became very clear to him. It was like everything finally fell into place for him. And And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Bobby gets sick. I get a call from Lee, from my birth mom, that Bobby's been diagnosed with lymphoma. I was so scared for him. But he had this incredible attitude. He was so determined to survive for his son. I remember when he called me to tell me that he was in remission, I had to hold the phone away from my ear. He was screaming it. He was so excited that he had really beaten this thing. And then it ended up that it came back. They hadn't quite gotten it yet. They decided that what they needed to do to save Bobby's life was to do a stem cell transplant. All of us siblings had to be tested. Our blood had to be tested to find out if any of us could be a possible donor. And my sister Sue was a perfect match. But what if I was the one that was the perfect match and he didn't know me? What if I'd never found them? Or what if I was the one that gotten sick and I needed a stem cell transplant or a blood transfusion or something? You know, when policymakers choose to keep birth family members apart, they're literally playing with people's lives. I'm not just talking about me and Bobby. I'm talking about our kids and their kids. I mean, it's about our family. It's about us. And whether we have a relationship with each other or not, it ought to be our choice. It shouldn't be based on some kind of, global policy. I got the phone call actually on my birthday. My sister Mary called me to say that this just all of a sudden overnight had gone really bad and I better get back there. The family had to make the decision to disconnect Bobby from life support. Everybody gathered around him and each person in that room had something to say to him as he was going off on this journey. I just held Bobby's hand. I could feel Bobby's pulse, and his heartbeat was strong. And then all of a sudden, I felt him go. Then he was gone. I didn't get to be there with my brother Bobby when he was born. I didn't get to hold him when he was a baby. I didn't get to hold his hand as his big sister when he was walking across the street. But I got to hold his hand when he died. And I felt like that sort of defined us as brother and sister, that I could be there for him for that moment. I'm very proud to have been a part of the tribe that stood vigil over him and that tried to do the right things for him at the end of his life. There's some people that might say that the relationship that I had with Bobby wasn't a real sibling relationship because we didn't meet till I was 33 and he was 24. But he was my brother. I loved him. I love all my brothers and sisters. They are a part of me and I am a part of them. How could anybody deny me that? What's so threatening about having more people in my life to love? I wrote my brother's obituary. Along with my brothers and sisters, I eulogized him at his wake. I rode with his son to the cemetery. It was about all of us being there for each other. We share a history. We share blood. To suggest that brothers and sisters be kept apart for their entire lives, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Do you know if I'd been given information about my birth family when I was 18 years old, I would have known Bobby from the time he was 7? I've been robbed. I'll always be grateful that I found my family. I'll always regret that I didn't find them sooner.
I always looked like the waterhead child.
No, you were just
Mike
an
was the
adorable
only-
baby.
That's Cap.
That's me with the finger in my mouth.
Okay, Jean's
This
not
is Mary.
of course.
Sue, no, but Jean,
Jean would be right in the
our
middle.
oldest would be right there.
Yep.
Is this Jean's next to Mary, then Mike, then Sue, then Jim, then Kathy, then Bobby, then Charlie. Charlie.
Dirt over.
No, he's cute.
It's everywhere. I mean, like, there's babies popping out of the family, like hamsters or, the The road multiplies all the time.
This is like the chicken or any evening under bed.
Just something to do.
This is my sister Dean.
You know what I learned by meeting my birth family? Big families are noisy.
Oh, brother.
What? You don't have anything for me? Oh,
Bobby.
I'll always be grateful that we were able to hold hands.